Live.
We are live, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Arsenal 101 preview of the North London derby. The game is being played at White Hart Lane, so it should be Tottenham versus Arsenal preview as opposed to Arsenal versus preview. So for those who aren't familiar and think this is a home game for Arsenal, this is not. This is an away game. Andy, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. You?
Yeah, feeling a bit nervous, but buoyant still in the idea that even if things shouldn't go the way of my beloved Arsenal, that we'll still be above you at the end of Thursday night. So let's chop it up, shall we? Let's talk about our respective teams and see what our thoughts are. It's going to be a short show. I know. I appreciate you haven't got a great deal of time. So I'll let you go first. What do you think?
About what?
About the upcoming game. What are your thoughts on team lineup, team so far, position in the league, all that?
I think the lineups are fairly predictable, depending on injury recoveries and that sort of thing. I know you've got an issue with Ben White, but I expect that Ben White is going to play from things I've been hearing coming out of the Arsenal camp. Would you concur with that?
I've no idea. I wouldn't second guess anything in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Thomas Partey roll out on the pitch on Thursday night, mate. I really wouldn't.
Oh, I think both Partey and White will play.
So I
think if there's any way of getting them on the pitch, Arsenal will get them on the pitch. No question.
I'm going to predict, when I predict my lineup, not to include those because I'm just going to go with a conservative. What is available based on the last game, which we played 48 hours ago, and that'll be that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Spurs team will be the same as it was at Liverpool on Saturday night.
So you're going. It's a 3-4-3 formation for you guys, right?
It'll be Lloris. I think it'll be Lloris in goal. Romero, Dyer, Davis as a back three. Yeah. You've got we're forced basically with the wingbacks with the injuries to Dotsy and Reguilon. We're basically playing Royal and Sessegnon as the wingbacks. Then we've got we'll have Bentancur and Højbjerg, I would imagine, in midfield, and then the usual trilogy up front: Kane, Son, Kulusevski. I don't expect any changes to the lineup unless there is an injury that's being kept quiet and we don't know about.
Okay. So I'll give you the team that I expect Arsenal to field, which will be pretty much identical to the weekend as well. So I don't expect Ben White to come back. If he does, it's a straight like-for-like swap for Holding. I expect Tomiyasu to play down the left flank as opposed to his usual position down the right, because he showed that he
weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's where he played at the weekend. So I think rather than bring Tavares back into the fray, I think he's going to be much more solid with Tavares down the left, Gabriel and Holding in centre, and Cedric on the right. Then he plays what is an in-motion pivot where it's Xhaka and El Neni ahead of the back four. But if you ever look, if you looked at Sunday's game and the previous game, you will notice that Xhaka ends up more often than not playing further forward in a two behind the front four, with El Neni playing the single pivot. Now, when Partey plays, he plays the single pivot. It's easy to see. El Neni has been playing that of late. The difference being that he's not as adventurous going forward as Thomas Partey is, but he's doing a sterling job as a holding midfielder. But I do expect Xhaka to be more defensive-minded on Thursday. Then ahead of those two, you've got Martinelli, Odegaard, and Saka, and up front, Eddie Nketiah.
Do you think Martinelli will start?
So again, because he started at the weekend, I think he starts again this week. I think the manager right now is playing his best end every game. I don't think he's holding back Smith Rowe on the basis that, I'm going to hold him back for a game on Thursday. I think, if Martinelli's fit and healthy, he causes damage in the opposition area. He got an assist. He could have had a goal on Sunday. Same again the week prior. So for me, yes, you do play Martinelli. His pace alone causes problems.
What's going on with Smith Rowe then? Because everybody was raving about Smith Rowe earlier in the season, and now he's not in the starting lineup.
So this is part of the competition for places at Arsenal. Smith Rowe is clearly a good player. He's got his international call up for England, and he's a fan favourite. However, there's clearly not enough spaces to be able to play Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Saka, and Nketiah, and Odegaard. So something's got to give. And I think we've seen a swapping of the guard where he started with Smith Rowe, then he's gone to Martinelli, then he's gone back to Smith Rowe. But now, just off the last 2 games, he's played Martinelli. And I think Martinelli's going to be the answer going forward. As I said, that is based on pure pace and trickery that he offers, where Smith Rowe is the out and out goal scorer. Smith Rowe is 11 goals this season, second highest in the team.
Surely you would have expected that to be more Martinelli than Smith Rowe.
You would, but Smith Rowe had that amazing stint where he scored 10 goals in a row. So yeah, it is what it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if he played Smith Rowe on Thursday.
I wouldn't be surprised. No, I wouldn't be surprised. But as I said, I'm going by what I've seen of the last 2 games, and I kind of feel like he now has what he believes to be his optimum starting 11.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's basically the same. I mean, this is what tells you what you need to know about Spurs' squad, in that we can pretty much identify what the lineup's going to be, so who Conte's favoured front. The two holding midfield players, the front 3. What they're going to be every week, unless there's injuries or maybe 3 games in a week, in which case you might see a bit of rotation. But
I've let you know who I think could be the X factors in terms of players coming in. Obviously, Smith Rowe could be in for Martinelli. We could have Ben White in for Holding, and we could potentially see Thomas Partey in for El Neni. Who could potentially be an X factor in your team?
I don't see it. I don't see that. To be honest, all the X factor is really up front, and there's nobody. I don't see the only options would be Bergwijn or Mora instead of potentially Kulusevski. And I don't see it happening. I don't see him not playing Kulusevski on Thursday night. Maybe he'd go for a surprise and go for Mora, but he tried Mora against in other games, and he hasn't always. Mora will always be a god to the Spurs fans for the hat-trick in Amsterdam. That he will be forever. We will all love him forever because of that. Yeah. But consistently, Mora doesn't normally produce consistently. He can have games where he's outstanding and he's got outstanding talent, but he doesn't do it week in, week out. But he's a very useful person to have off the bench, no question. He can come on and affect a game. He just doesn't do it. But I don't see there being any surprises. If Doherty or Reguilon were available, I would expect Doherty and Reguilon to be the wing backs if they were available, but they're not. So
no chance of a surprise there.
I think the team picks itself basically right now.
Okay.
we might see some rotation for Sunday. I mean, ridiculously, we've got to play Burnley at midday Sunday when we're playing you Thursday night, and you get an extra day and a half recovery before you have to go to Newcastle on Monday night. So
yeah,
I don't think Spurs fans are too happy about that scheduling, given that the game was called off because Arsenal had one COVID case.
There he goes again.
Well, it's a crucial thing. I mean, Conte's alluded to today. It's a crucial thing. He said that we had 9 or 10 COVID cases after a game against Leicester to be moved to accommodate playing our Europa Conference League game against Rennes, and we got told no by the league. And then, lo and behold, 6 weeks later, you get the North London derby postponed, and you had 1 case of COVID. It's like, what? So,
is what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think you'll find that there is a lot of animosity from Spurs towards Arsenal because of that issue.
But that doesn't trickle down to the players, I don't think.
I think Conte will wind them up about it. I think you will see. I mean, I'm expecting.
As I said to you last Friday, Andy, I don't see that being the reason why you've got to beat Arsenal.
No, we've got to beat you anyway. We've got to beat you anyway. But Conte will use
in the stands for why you have to come out and perform and win this game.
Conte will use a series of things to motivate the players to get them wound up like coiled springs beforehand. And I think that will be one of the, the feeling of injustice that basically a game which we would have probably won comfortably because of your, weakened team at that time is now. But in another way, now it's going to be a bit more of a contest because most of the best players will be on the park, give or take 1 or 2 for both sides. So, at least we'll get a proper contest on Thursday night. And, from your point of view, you're in the box seat. You win Thursday night, Champions League's yours. It's simple as that. I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm fairly confident I'm as confident as I think I've ever been in a North London derby that we will win on Thursday night.
You should be.
I shouldn't be. You should be. You're the all glorified, brilliant Champions League team.
So let's be analytical here. So talk to me. Tell me what your weaknesses are on Thursday.
Our weaknesses? Well, if we had any, I wouldn't be telling you what they are, would I?
Why not? We don't play. That's what we're here for. We're here to talk about the game.
Spurs have plenty of things that need strengthening, but the way we performed at Anfield on Saturday night will give them all an awful lot of confidence, I am sure, because we took on arguably the best team in Europe on Saturday night, certainly one of the best 3, and I believe outperformed Liverpool. I mean, I know Liverpool had lion's share of possession, but if you look at the chances created, Spurs were the most dangerous team on Saturday night. However, but we didn't win the game, and it's unfortunate that we didn't win the game, and that gave you an opportunity which you stumbled over the line with on Sunday. Despite, I mean, at one point I thought you were going to win about 8-0 when they were down to 10 men after half an hour, and you were 2-0 up. I thought this literally you could wipe out the goal difference between the 2 clubs in one match.
Yeah.
But, you didn't do it, and in the end, you put yourself because they could have equal in that last minute.
Yeah, I get it.
They could have, if he'd have glanced that header properly, he could have equalised.
So go on, tell me what your weaknesses are.
Insane.
Where's your weakness? Where's your weakness in the team?
My personal feeling, as I've said all season, is I think we are particularly weak at wingbacks. I don't think our wingbacks are very good. I mean, but they both performed admirably at Anfield on Saturday night. Now, if we get another performance out of them, Sessegnon's a confidence player. He would have gained a lot of confidence by keeping Salah quiet on Saturday night. He played very well on Saturday night, as did Rowe. But they've both had some shocking games as well. So the question will be is what performance do we get out of them on Thursday? if they perform like they did at Anfield on Saturday night. But I think it'll be a different game because I don't think the crowd will allow us to sit on the edge of our box and cram the penalty area with 10 men in the way that we did at Anfield on Saturday night at home.
Okay.
So
let me give you my breakdown of Arsenal's weak areas. Gabriel Magalhaes, as of recent, has been pretty error prone. He's been very slow in passing the ball out of defence. I believe that with the pace you've got of Kulusevski down that side of the park, if you get on the break when Tomiyasu's up pitch, there's a problem. Down the other flank, clearly Son has huge pace. He's coming up against Rob Holding. I'm actually less worried about Rob Holding facing Son than I am Kulusevski facing Gabriel. And that might be a surprise to you.
I believe Ben White's going to play on Thursday. I think Ben White will play.
Even if Ben White plays, I still don't feel disastrous about Ben White. Other area for concern is Aaron Ramsdale. For some mad reason, been having a blinding season. We've been keeping a lot of clean sheets until about February, March time. Then all of a sudden, since then, we ain't been able to keep a clean sheet. He has been responsible for a number of howlers.
The last couple of months, he's not played as well.
Yeah,
as he did earlier in the season.
Yeah. So those are the weak areas. I mean, Granit Xhaka, you just don't know. He could have a blinder. I'm hoping he plays most of his game up pitch, where he can cause less damage. Because if we're playing on the front foot and he's up pitch, then there's less chance that he can do something silly at the back. And it's he is vulnerable to a yellow card or a red. So the more we play on the front foot, the better. So there are the weak areas for Arsenal.
I mean, I was talking about the wing-backs for Spurs. The other thing we have is all across our back line, there are errors in them. Like Lloris has been known to do what Meslier did against Arsenal on Sunday. That's happened to Lloris on at least a couple of occasions I can remember, where he goes to control the ball and all of a sudden the forwards on top of him. So he has an error in him. I mean, it's like Saturday night at Anfield, he threw the ball out to Liverpool at 25 yards out. But often Lloris does turn up in big games. He does normally play well in big games. So fingers crossed, his concentration will be strong and he'll be, he won't make any mistakes Thursday night, I hope. But Dyer has got a mistake in him. Romero's got a mistake in him. Davis has definitely got a mistake in him. So the issues are going to be, I think it could come down Thursday to who makes the mistakes.
Yeah, I think it will.
Do Spurs capitalise on Arsenal's mistakes, or do Arsenal capitalise on Spurs' mistakes? Because I think both sides have got a mistake in them.
I agree.
It could go down to that. What I think will be interesting, and what I'm hoping, is we have a strong record when we go ahead in football matches. As I think yours is pretty good as well. But we've got a strong record when we go ahead under Conte. I think he's maybe only lost once when we've taken the lead, or maybe not even at all. I'm not sure. So I think the first goal could be quite important on Thursday night. I don't think it will be decisive because there could be goals in the game, but I think if we can get ahead, I think that will stand us in good stead on Thursday night, because I think that will put an immense amount of pressure on your team. And if you start to open up against us, Kane, Son, and Kulusevski can hurt any team if they're given space. And if you start, if you go behind and then try and come at us, then we have got the ability to take you apart. But you've got special players too, so it should be a good game. But I'm going, if we're going for predictions, I go for a 3 or 4-1.
Okay, cool.
I
want to talk about your formation against our formation, because you play a 3-4-3, whereas we play a 4-2-3-1. Have you had any thoughts about how that matches up?
Well, it'd be interesting to see what you do to keep Kane quiet, because the teams that have had the most success against us in recent times have clearly had it at Brighton and Brentford, clearly had a game plan to stop the ball getting to Kane. And the truth is, if you do stop the ball getting to Kane, that does affect Tottenham's. If you stop Kane getting a chance to turn and feed Son and Kulusevski, that does affect Spurs. And I think if you were to deploy El Neni to almost try to sort of shield Kane, to basically stop the lines going into Kane, then that could be a problem for Tottenham. But I dare say Conte's been working on alternative routes to goal. But the teams that, maybe Arsenal don't want to do it. Maybe Arsenal don't want to sacrifice a player to do that. But Brighton and Brentford did, and it did affect Kane. Like, he barely got the ball in either game, and we didn't score in either game. So, but you can see what they can do when they're on. When Kane, Son and Kulusevski are on, and Kane's getting the ball and turning and firing passes through, then we can hurt anybody.
Yeah, interesting. Well, what else can we talk about? So you predicting a 3 or 4-1? You feel?
I'll say 3-1, but I'm hoping we just tear at you on Thursday night. I'm hoping, because to be honest, we've got nothing to lose, because we are fifth now. We're guaranteed fifth. We can't go down.
Can't go lower.
We can't go lower. So there is absolutely nothing to lose for us on Thursday night. Everyone expects you to get your 4 points clear with 3 games to go. Everyone expects you to get the 4th spot. All the pressure, in my opinion, now is on you.
I mean, as I said, the safety net, if I could say it, is that we will still be above you at the end of the game, and it is in our hands to go away and win at Newcastle and at home to Everton.
Which is why you're overwhelming favourites to finish in the top 4, because irrespective now of any other results, even if we could murder you, we could beat you 8-1 on Thursday night. The reality is we'll still be a point behind you with 2 games to go. You win your last 2 games, you're in the top 4.
Absolutely.
End of story. What is interesting though for me is if we can beat you Thursday, and if we can follow that up by beating Burnley on Sunday, we will be above you before you go to Newcastle. Now, that will then put the pressure back on you to get a win at Newcastle, because, quite frankly, the way Newcastle have been very good at home in recent times. They've been excellent at St James's Park. That's been the big part of Eddie Howe's revival up there. And it's their last home game of the season. I don't think they're going to want to roll over for you, particularly in their last home game of the season. But they don't really have anything to play for.
Exactly. That's exactly what I think.
That's the one thing that's in your favour. They don't have anything to play for, except there have been words coming out of there that they wanted to finish in the top half of the table as a kind of statement of intent for next season. And if they were to win their last 2 games, they could still finish in the top 10. And if they did that, I think that would give their board something to work with over the summer to say, well, look, we're not fighting relegation anymore. Come to us next season, and we'll, when they're recruiting for the summer. So, I don't think that'll be easy. And Trippier and Wilson both came off the bench at the weekend, having been out for 2 or 3 months. Well, in fact, Wilson's been out for several months, since December, I think. So they both came off the bench at the weekend, so they could be back. And obviously Trippier ex Spurs, I imagine he'll be happy to have a go at Arsenal. So you know, we'll see. I don't think they'll roll over for you. So if but what we need to do is win the 2 games this week. Because if we don't, then it's all yours anyway.
Yeah.
I think quite frankly, if you get a point at our place on Thursday night, it's done and dusted. Because then you only have to win one of your last 2 games.
Absolutely, I agree. So that's why I'm going to go for a draw. I'm actually predicting a 1-1 for the game. I think the first goal makes a huge difference. I think if we score, then we start to get confidence. If we concede first, it could be a hatful. It could be, because our heads go down, and it could be horrible. Could be very horrible if we concede first. So we're going to have to be at the races. We're going to have to get out and pressure from minute 1, and hopefully some of the players who have not been performing of late will start to perform. The fact that we're on a 4-game winning streak is confidence itself. So, hopefully we can go and get another win.
And you've beaten big teams in that run as well.
Absolutely.
Albeit that they've rolled over for you, but you have those wins should have given your team some confidence.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think 4 games in a row. I think that's your best 4 wins in the sprint. That's your best run of the season, isn't it?
For sure.
Equal best run of the season.
Yeah, no, it's the best run. It's the best run. But yeah, look, it's going to be an interesting game. You going to it?
My worry actually is after playing Liverpool, the energy they put into Liverpool on Saturday, and then if we can get a result against you Thursday, is I could see a thing where we beat you and then draw at home or something up to Burnley on Sunday. I could see that happening, but it's it will be because they'll have had 2 massive games against Liverpool and Arsenal in the space of a week, and then Burnley on the Sunday lunchtime. It wouldn't shock me. That would be a very Spursy thing to do.
And of course, Burnley are fighting relegation.
They're fighting relegation, exactly. And they need a result. No question about that.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting. I still think there's twists and turns. I'm not sure we're going to win all 3, but I'm not sure you will either. So it could be. It's a big game Thursday night. I think if we win, I think it's game on. If we can win Thursday night, it is game on, definitely.
Yeah. Are you at the game?
Yeah, I've got a ticket I've got the ticket today.
Excellent.
So I've got a mad dash down from Derby after work.
Okay.
I've got to finish work about 4 and then just smash it down the M1.
Cool. Well, enjoy the game. Not too much. If you see Gary King, tell him I said hello.
I'll send you a picture of the scoreboard when it says Spurs 5, Arsenal 0.
Yeah. But thanks a lot for joining me this evening, Andy, and good luck.
Take it easy, Tone.
See you soon,
Cheers,
buddy.
everyone. See you later.
Bye for now.
Bye.